All right, Sistas fans, we are talking Season 3, Episode 13, entitled Water Under the Bridge. And to be completely honest, this episode could have stayed under the bridge with the trolls because, well, just like the Oval, it really wasn't all that great. I didn't watch the episode live last night, but I did follow along on Twitter, and the masses pretty much feel the same way. You know, the fact that this episode really wasn't hitting much of nothing. A lot of people were saying the same thing. I know one tweet that had me rolling. Somebody said 20 minutes of episode, 40 minutes of commercials, and not a lot happened. Most of this episode, I felt like most of the conversations of the episode happened over the phone as opposed to in person. And remember what I said in my Oval review yesterday, that the Oval this week felt like more of the same. I feel like the same could be said about Sistas, where most of the episode took place at the bank. And let's not even get into how ridiculous things got there. And then we spent time with Zach at the property he's planning to buy. We have a blink and you miss it moment at the airport with Danny and El Fuego. And then the lack of Andy in the episode, I didn't mind it per se, because I'd rather, get around to see what the other characters are doing as opposed to the same old Andy and Robin or Andy and Gary drama. And then we end the episode off at the apartment. I mean, I give it like a 3 out of 10. I mean, the only part of the episode that really resonated with people online, that had people talking, was obviously when Zach shut Karen down. That, if I were grading the episode off of that alone, like, basically the Zach scenes, I would give this episode a 10 out of 10. But unfortunately, that was a small amount of time compared to the rest of the episode. But this just leads into what my fear of what the Sister series is becoming. If we're talking about characters who aren't involved in the Zatima storyline, the episode is really boring. And as they're working on season 4 right now, I hope that's something Tyler Perry is working on. So, with that being said, a 3 out of 10 for the episode. And before we go into the actual review, make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Also, go ahead and hit subscribe because, well, I did check the analytics last night and we are getting more people who are subscribed watching the channels. We're almost at like 30%, which is great. So guys, if you're watching the video, I think we're barely over 70% of viewerships from non-subscribers. So hit subscribe and that will take the channel off. It will just help it blow up, which is great. And also follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. But okay, I'm trying not to rant. I'm not going to rant. I just want to talk about the episode and how a lot of things just didn't add up for me. All right, so Q, and I think he calls out 3 or 4 other guys in masks to come out. So we got, Q and some thugs, all with guns, pointed at Sabrina and Maurice. Sabrina is forced to open the vault, but she makes it clear that she can't do it. Now, like I said in other videos leading up to this episode, I don't really know how the bank works. So, I don't know if she's trying to stall or something like that. But she needs to call corporate because of the fact that the vaults just don't open that way. It's just the fact that, yeah, I have a code, but then they also have to open the vault from their end. So she managed to get on the phone with somebody and gives a code. And then later on, it's mentioned that she'll get a call back. And then when Maurice tells her about it, Heifer, that wasn't your employee code, your manager code? No, but that was the property code. So basically, Sabrina was able to manipulate the situation and work out in their favor. But I'll get back to that in just a second. So Maurice points out that Q is like, look, you seem like you need some of that stuff. Or you're really nervous, like you're twitching and everything. I mean, this was pretty much rinse and repeat. And I mean, I feel bad for Sabrina. It's like, wait, you told him that I can open the vault? Well, I had to do what I do to save my self. And I'm trying not to say the B word because he used that a lot. And as does Q and everything. But yeah, that really I'm not going to make fun of the acting because this was a real tense situation, and I mean it was believable, just based off how they were acting. And I know some people online were like, why don't you just give them the money so they can go and you can save yourselves and yada yada yada. But this just goes into how ignorant Q is, because robbing a bank isn't that easy. That's why stick-ups usually happen in like the middle of the day or something like that, based on, movies and, live news reports, people coming to the bank when it's actually busy, not when the damn bank just opened. Sheesh. All right. But we go over to, no, you know what? Let me just go ahead and talk about all the bank stuff first. Then I'll go over to Zach. I think that makes the most sense. All right. So Q, has some people like, all right, hey, you check the doors in the front, you check the doors in the back. But for some reason, after, Sabrina gets off the phone and says they'll call me back with the code and we're not stalling. Fine. You know what? If I see any cops, both of y'all getting shot. Why the hell did Q just leave? You had Maurice with his hands tied up, but you just left Sabrina and Maurice there alone, knowing that they're employees in a bank where somewhere there's like a button or something they could push to alert the police. Like at the beginning of the episode, before Sabrina's forced to go around the counter, it looks like, she's lowering one of her hands. I think there was like a little sign that said like FDC or something, which I'm like, oh, there must be like a federal, just based like a security force. Like if she hits this button, that's an alert or an alarm to let the authorities know, hey, we need to get down to the bank. There's some trouble going on. So, Q looks back at her before she could do it. And I was like, oh, damn, Sabrina was trying to do something right there. But even on the phone, she says, hey, here's this code. And yes, there's a customer here who wants to get inside of the vault, which I'm pretty sure is like code for the other person on the line to know, okay, something's going down. Like she gave the full address and everything. So where did Q go? Okay. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, because Sabrina said they're going to call back with the code stuff, once they do everything on their end. So if Q leaves, how would he know if they called back? Not to mention, Sabrina could just reach across the counter. They were in front of the windows at this point, and I'm pretty sure she could reach behind her and call 911 or hit some sort of button if she wanted to. Not to mention with everybody, on the perimeter and everything, guarding the doors, who's to say her and Maurice couldn't just run into one of the offices and lock themselves in there until the police show up? Q's an idiot. Confirmed. All right. And I thought the whole him not having a mask thing was ridiculous, but I did excuse that, saying, well, yeah, even if they robbed the bank and took the money, Maurice wouldn't know it was Q unless, Maurice got killed. So this was just Tyler Perry writing at its finest. And what killed me, no pun intended with the guns here, but when Q was like, is there anybody else working here? Is there anybody else coming? And Sabrina said no. I'm like, yeah, that's right, because there's nobody else working at that bank. I'm sorry, but eventually, after he leaves and it's just Maurice and Sabrina, he's obviously embarrassed and ashamed. He talked about how the situation happened. He came over to my place. We ended up, doing the do. Then he put a gun to my head, and just as he's, in his feelings, a squad of cops just roll up into place. I'm like, what the hell? So they show up. Okay, I will admit it was a funny moment where Sabrina told Maurice what the code was. It's like, yeah, I gave the property code. See, and I wasn't even lying about the vault stuff. You didn't even read your employee handbook. You would know about it. Oops. Because there might have been a slight chance that when Maurice was held at gunpoint at the apartment, he could have went into full detail about how I can't open the vault. One of the managers can, but then it's a lengthy process. You just can't go in there and open the vault. So in that way, Sabrina could have potentially been spared from this situation. I don't know what's worse. Maurice dragging Sabrina into this mess, or when I started to truly dislike his character in season 2. Because if you remember me reviewing season 1, you know Maurice, for a strong portion of season 1, he was my favorite character. But then season 2, when he beat the hell, oh yeah, that's right, when he beat the hell out of Alonzo, and then him and Sabrina went down to the bank, and he drove off and left Sabrina by herself, that's when I'm like, I know that was supposed to be funny, but what if Alonzo came to and attacked Sabrina? And now you look at this situation when Maurice drags Sabrina into this mess with Q. Because she was the one that said you should have him arrested. I think when one of the last times they were at the bank, when they were just talking at the back. Yeah, this is when I think Zach deposited the check or whatever. And the check, and then got the stock money. Sabrina and Maurice are talking, and Maurice was, all infatuated with Q, and then Sabrina was like, yeah, you should have him arrested for, stealing those checks. Like, no, I just let him go. So the cops come in, and it turns out Q and the guys snuck out the front door, but the cops have a perimeter set up, and there are about 40 cops around, so they're definitely going to catch Q and his horde. And from there, they'll get the statements on how, hey, did you know the people robbing the bank? And then Maurice is going to get mad at Sabrina for, I'm not even going to say drop and dime, but it's like, look, no, you drag me into this shit, we're going to tell the truth. So basically, they give their statements. I'm sorry if I'm dragging it on, but I'm literally trying to make sure I cover all the bank stuff because, it was just something else. All right, so that's the end of the stuff. Maurice cracks some jokes. I'm not really going to harp on that too much. We get a brief segue over to the airport, and the preview pretty much said what the scene was. El Fuego said, hey, I'm traveling to Miami for, one of the jobs. And, if you watched All the Queens Men, like he said, he's one of the top earners at the club. And, when Danny tried to say, what are you going to do when, you're 40 and whatnot, and everything starts sagging? Oh, no, I'm pretty sure I could retire with all the money I'm making. I'm doing good. I got it like that. And you and the girls should come by tonight. And like it was said in the the Sky Black interview with TV Line, there is a crossover episode coming, but I don't know if that officially means we're going to see Club Eden, but I would love to see it. But, Danny and the girls will go tonight. He'll have the table set up, VIP. It just, the works, basically. And apparently, Danny and him had sex when they were in college, but that's when he was, the fat boy and whatnot. And now, he's not the fat boy. So Danny's, thinking about it. But she's going to give him a call. And we go over to the salon. And Karen just finishes up with her one customer. And I'm not going to rag on that. It's early in the morning. Plus, she's losing customers as it is. Pam is concerned about the books looking pretty empty. And, she's worried about getting paid. But she mentions the check Zach gave Karen. And she's like, how'd you know? Oh, I didn't know until just now. And she says, don't worry, I'll go to the bank and whatnot. So she goes to the back to call him. But let's go to Zach first at the property he wants to buy. So the realtor shows him around. The house isn't completed yet, but it's a work in progress. And the bank is trying to, sell it as soon as possible. So he makes a phone call to Fatima. And, apparently he has sent her a video and some pictures just to get a second opinion on it. And Zach is nervous about it because, I got a feeling. What do you mean you got a feeling? It's like, I'm just nervous. This is a big step. And she just encourages him to let him know that he's ready to do it. So from there, she'll try to sneak away from work as soon as possible to go on break to see him. And then he tells the realtor, I want to put an offer in. And, what's the next step of that? It's like, well, we could just make a quick offer right now. And he says, what if I did 50% upfront in cash? Well, how's your credit? Yeah, that's why I want to do cash. But she's like, yeah, I'll speak with, one of my people. And I'm pretty sure with you offering half of the cash up front, you might be in the running to get this spot. And from there, she asks, are you married? Engaged, dating? Is that something that's on the application? No, I was curious myself. Once this whole thing is over, would you like to get a drink? And I love how cool this scene played out too. He's like, oh no, I'm not married or engaged, but I am seeing someone. But, oh, yeah, that's a shame. Well, you're not going to keep trying to come after me, right? It's like, no, it's not like that. You know, sometimes people be mad, but yeah, you know, it's a shame because, you know, you look so good in that suit. Oh, you look good in that suit too. So it was a cute scene. And shout out, Kate Singleton is making her rounds. You know, she's playing this role in Sistas. She's about to be shown in the Oval as the second lady. She got her own thing on the All Black Network Covenant. I have not watched the show yet. I do plan on watching it, but guys, my schedule is full with shows right now. I do plan to watch it though. And then we go back to what Karen was doing. She goes to the back room, the office, to call Zach. He still blocked her number. And then she gets in her feelings about that. So then she calls him from the salon phone number. And he answers the phone. Oh, you still got me on block? Well, yeah, I'm sorry about that. No, it's okay. It's like, yeah, I felt like, you know, with everything, it was probably best. Best? Yeah, so what is it, Karen? So from there, she pretty much tries to bring up, would you like to go to dinner? Wait, dinner? What for? Well, you know, Zach, I just wanted to say that the check came at a good time because I'm going through some issues with the salon. I'm losing customers because I'm like, oh, wow, I know she isn't going to ask for money because he just gave her money. But remember, my theory was, what if it's about the whole business proposition? Like maybe Zach could buy the salon and then he would change it to do something else. You know, kind of like the barbershop movie where Calvin took a loan from Lester Wallace. And he assumed that Lester would keep the barbershop the way it was, but he was going to turn it into a gentleman's club. But, you know, I thought something would be done like that. But no, she goes on to say that you didn't have to give me the money. But then Zach retorts like, Karen, be real. If I didn't tell you about this money and you found out from your girls, you would have been pissed off. Let me put it this way. Karen called Zach, but Zach had her number the entire time. So from there, he's like, I'm good. Oh, wow. Wait, so you're good on that? Is that what this is now? It's like, she goes back to the whole check thing about, you didn't have to pay me that money, but, I know the kind of man you are. Yeah, the kind of man who will steal a credit card. Well, Zach, I apologize for that. I believe that she did apologize when he came over and gave her the $5,000. When he first got the money for chain breakers and he gave her $5,000. Like, look, I know I owe you $77. Here's $5,000. I'll pay you the rest eventually. So he pretty much, mentions, well, the credit card thing. What, I guess it's all water under the bridge. Yeah, it is. So let's go to dinner. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm good. And and she tries to keep going, but he's like, hey, actually, I'm in the middle of something. Hey, how about this? I'll call you back sometime. And she's like, yeah, okay. And then boom, I was like, bye, Felicia. Just Karen in this audacity to feel like she literally feels like she controls him. I feel like that's what's killing her. It's not the whole, I know a lot of people, and I'm not saying that what people say isn't part of this situation. People are like, see, this is what happens, when you moved on and you're feeling somebody else and somebody's feeling you, or that's when that person from before who treated you like trash wants you back. Or the age-old story of, more often than not, somebody won't be interested in you until you're interested in somebody else, because of that attention. So it must be killing Karen on the inside to not have her look. And I know, and I'm not trying to be insensitive here, but a lot of comments on one of my videos, a sister said this, Karen is just mad because she doesn't have her knee on Zach's neck. I'm not trying to make it insensitive to the George Floyd thing, but that's literally what people are saying. She doesn't have Zach pressed to the ground like she used to. Zach is on his own. He's doing so much better without her. And you could tell in the way she was speaking with Zach over the phone, because you could tell, for the 3 years they broke up and got back together again, broke up, got together again. It just felt so natural to her. Hey, I'm going to try to sound really sweet and say the right things. Oh yeah, let's go get dinner. We can talk. What is there to talk about, Karen? I mean, last season you were mad after you two were done and he was seeing somebody else. Wow. Oh, well, actually, no, it was earlier this season. Yeah, it's like, wow, I can't believe it. He never even told her my name. He never talked to her. Heffa, you were with Aaron the whole time. Just because you're with Aaron, but you keep saying Zach when you're sleeping. You keep saying my heart's with Zach. I love Zach. You expect Zach to talk to his new girl about his ex all the time because Fatima kept cutting him off before he could say, yeah, you know, this reminds me of my ex. Nuh-uh, Zach, we ain't talking about that. So he never said her name. Karen getting on my damn nerves. And I don't know what's worse. Karen or her girls, but we'll get to that in just a second. So after Zach hangs up the phone, it's like, yeah, 3 years, just like that. Oh yeah, now you're all up on me. You're on me now. And I mean, yeah, first you turn down that fine realtor, then you got Karen trying to knock on your door again. Just no. So from there, Karen tells Pam to keep an eye on the shop. She's going to go down to the bank. And I'll get to the bank scene. So Karen goes to the bank, and the cops are still everywhere, and she's not allowed to go in. But Sabrina's like, "Oh no, let her in. I know her." And I'm thinking to myself, well, Maurice knew Q when he tried to rob the bank. So I'm just saying. Again, I really don't know protocol on how these situations work, but with there being 40 cops on the premises, wouldn't Karen have seen like a perimeter set up or a bunch of cop cars there or something? Seriously, I'm very confused of how this works. People pointed this out too. It's like, so Karen goes and Sabrina deposits the check. I mean, is she even able to do that? Because she did mention, after the cops have gotten their statements and after they finish the perimeter check and everything, because I guess we can assume that Q and his gang has been arrested by this point. They were going to close the bank and Sabrina and Maurice would go home. So I honestly don't know how. This is Tyler Perry writing, so I'm just going to assume this scene had to happen the way it did in order to keep the story moving forward so Karen would know to tell the girls. But regardless, Karen goes in and she deposits the check, but she notices how shaken up Sabrina and Maurice. Maurice is just ashamed. He feels like an idiot. He put, himself and his friend in danger. He put the bank in a bad situation. He's probably going to lose his job. But I'm thinking to myself, Maurice, you're not losing your job because the bank can't afford to fire you when you and Sabrina are the only people that work there. But in any case, here's where we get to the part where a lot of people online were saying the same thing. These girls need to stop gassing up Karen. So Karen goes to deposit the check and she tells Sabrina, and remember she told Zach, I haven't told the girls this, but the check is coming at a good time because the salon is losing business. So she's just talking about how, Sabrina's surprised. Wait, wow, he actually paid the money back. Yeah, he did. Yeah, it's great that he did that. It's like, yeah, he didn't even have to do it, but it's so kind of him to do it, and it came at the right time and stuff like that. And, Sabrina notices how Karen is being gentle, non-judgmental. That wasn't meant to rhyme. I swear I just said that. And she could tell that she's still into Zach. Are you still feeling Zach? Well, I'm always going to love him, Sabrina. I'm always going to love Zach. What about Aaron? He asked me to marry him. And what did you say? Now's not the right time just to wait. He's like, yeah, that's good. What do you mean that's good? Just take your time and think this out, especially with Zach still around. Wait, this isn't about Zach. No, I mean the new Zach. She's literally encouraging this. It's like, yeah, Aaron says marry him, but the new Zach is still walking around. Leave it alone. And then as soon as they finish business, okay, I'll see you later, Mrs. Karen Taylor. No! Okay, so then before leaving, it's like, hey, you know what? I hope you feel better. I'll check in on you later. Maurice, sorry this situation happened. Yeah, I'm just going to be lonely, miserable with cats. And Karen's like, okay, well, I hope you feel better. Bye. So before Karen even fully gets out of the bank, she goes through the door, and then, she's kind of like in the entrance area. When you open the front door, there's like a little area before you open another door to get to the bank. She gets on the phone to call Andy, and then gets Danny on the line to basically tell them what happened at the bank. And yeah, girl, I just made a deposit, Sabrina's shaking. And Andy's like, I'm going to come down there. And then she's like, no, let's all go over to Sabrina's after we get off work at 6, because, kind of give her some time. And Danny's like, I'm going to call her right now. No, don't call her right now. We just come over, check on her, and Danny, don't come high. B, I want to come high. Don't say stupid shit. Don't tell me not to come high. And I know a lot of people online were just like, Karen act like she run the group, and it's like, no. If you tell me one of my closest people just got held up by gunpoint, I'm going to call to check on her. Yeah. I don't really know how to feel about it. I feel like, obviously, yeah, if your friend's going through something, you go check on them right away. But then you also, it's like, yeah, they're shaking up. Maybe they need some space, time to process the situation. I just don't know if it was the right call for Karen to do that. But then again, it's really dependent on how you would handle the situation. So I'm not going to sit up here and judge. So after that, Andy catches Hayden in Fatima's office making a call because, he's standing behind the desk looking through some papers. And, like Andy said, it seemed pretty clear that he's been standing there for quite some time, trying to find out where Fatima was. So he's like, wait, you don't trust me? Well, we work in the same firm in different divisions. So he's like, okay, fine. Yeah, I'll show you out. And then, he leaves. And then moments after he leaves, Fatima shows up. Oh, that was a long break. Oh, I'm sorry. It's like, oh, no, Hayden was in here looking for you for what? So he gets confronted by her, and he acts like he's not playing a game, but we all know he's playing some kind of mind games. Like, this shady little Negro is like, oh yeah, Fatima, the next time you come to my office, make sure you're not. You got some nerve. So, from there, okay, I guess the last thing to talk about is, when Fatima actually stopped by. Oh yeah, my bad. Fatima actually walks into the new property because Zach calls her. It's like, where you at? I'm right here. And shows her around. They try to visualize, hey, imagine, the kitchen right here, the bedroom right there, you cooking. It's like, oh, what about you cooking for me? Oh, yeah. And basically, remember, this is like a split kind of townhouse where Zach is standing. The second part of the house on the other side looks exactly like this. So, he wants her opinion. Oh yeah, it looks great, and it's close to schools. There are a couple of preschools, and Zach's like, what? I'm not pregnant, Zach. I'm not trying to tamper with this figure. And then, they kind of flirt, and it's like, well, you know what? I'll see you later after, the end of the day. And everybody and their mother, oh my gosh, she's pregnant. Oh yeah, she's pregnant. Everybody's losing their mind online. So after that, yeah, I guess the last scene to talk about is Maurice and Sabrina getting back to the apartment. I'm not really going to harp on this too much because, like I said before, it's all the same. Maurice is still moping. The fact that he knew Q was a hustler, but then said, I didn't expect him to rob a bank, but he stole checks, though. He literally, wait, what the hell? What? You wouldn't? He knew this was fake. But he just loved the idea of being with somebody, given the fact that he's not skinny, muscular. He isn't the kind of guy people look at and automatically think, yeah, I'm going to love this guy and be with him forever. As opposed to, I just want to. He just brings up the fact that most online dating is hookup culture. That's literally the society we live in. It's more about hookups than long lasting relationships. So that's actually pretty accurate. But then from there, Sabrina tries to cheer him up. Hey, let's have a drink. Let's go out tonight, meet some guys. And he's like, no, I'm just going to relax for the night. It's just been one of those days. And, my mom hates me for being gay. Check out the video I did about Crystal Fox, Angela Robinson, if they played characters in The Oval and Sistas. I brought up one of them potentially playing Maurice's mother. And trust and believe, I did not know that was going to be brought up in this episode. So I'm glad I dropped that video when I did. So from there, he just wants something that's real. And in the middle of this heartfelt moment, Peggy is up in the fridge looking like a midnight snack early in the morning. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know anybody was here. And then Sabrina gets up like, oh, what? So, Maurice, because they met briefly at the club once with him and Calvin. I mean, with her and Calvin. And then Calvin comes, hey, what's that? I thought I heard something out here. Oh. And then you got Peggy behind the fridge naked, just like Jacoby was when Calvin came over that one time to Sabrina's place. And then Calvin's naked. And that's the end of the episode. And I mentioned this in my, what video was it? The one about, does Sabrina want to stay single? I posted a few days ago and I mentioned, this isn't going to look good because only a few hours ago, Calvin was in bed with Sabrina talking about how, you know what? Okay, you say you don't want to commit, you don't want to be in a relationship, but you don't want to see other people. But if you want to see other people, make sure you let me know if you want to do that first. Okay, sure. So this is just like, this makes what happened with them hooking up again in the mid-season finale even more ridiculous, because now you make Calvin look like a hypocrite. Okay, stupid. Either way, Peggy fine as hell. I don't care what anybody says. I like that. But overall, this episode, it really dragged for me. Just like the Oval, it was just a lot of the same thing. The way the way Q handled the robbery made no sense. Maurice took up most of the episode. The Danny El Fuego scene was more of the same. Andy was barely in the episode, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing. And the best part, obviously, was when Zach shut Karen down. But then you have, Sabrina gassing her up. And then in the preview for next week, I will get to that when I get to that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I give the episode a 3 out of 10. And I'm not trying to hate on the show, but I'm just being completely honest. This episode really didn't do it for me. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like I mentioned before, please like and subscribe. And if you can donate to the channel if you would like, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.